There was once a man named Daniel, 42 years old, who woke up one morning and realized he didn't recognize his own life. He lived in a neat house in the suburbs, had a stable job in finance, a loyal dog named Milo, and a refrigerator stocked with organic groceries. But something inside him had withered. Each morning was greeted with a sigh, not anticipation. Each night ended with Netflix on autoplay, not reflection. Daniel wasn't miserable. He was numb, and numbness, he realized, is worse than pain. At least pain tells you that you're alive. So, on a particularly gray Thursday morning, with a coffee cup in hand and a quiet question burning in his heart, he typed into his phone, "How do you find happiness?" The top results were articles, motivational videos, books to buy, but buried below them all was a link to something called the map. No author, no website name, just the words, "Read this only if you're ready to see." Intrigued and frankly desperate, Daniel clicked. What followed wasn't a map in the traditional sense. It was a story. There was once a boy named Arun, born in a small village nestled between two mountains and wrapped in perpetual mist. The people of the village believed that happiness could only be found beyond the mountains. So as Arun grew, he watched friends and family leave in search of something more. But Arun was different. He stayed. He listened to the winds, talked to the trees, and helped an old man who lived at the edge of the forest. This old man, called Bapu by the villagers, was seen as strange, a relic of another time. But Arun loved his stories. "Bapu," he asked one day, "why don't you leave the village like the others?" The old man smiled, brushing with shavings off his knees. "Because happiness isn't a place, my boy. It's a way of being." Arun frowned. "But everyone says we need to find it. Only those who look inward ever truly find it." "But how do you look inward?" "With courage." Daniel read the story twice. Something in Bapu's words stuck with him. Only those who look inward ever truly find it. That night, he sat in silence. No TV, no distractions, just him and Milo and the low hum of the refrigerator. He thought about his childhood dreams, how he once wanted to be a photographer, how he used to sketch people at train stations, how his teenage self wrote poems about stars and sorrow. Somewhere along the way, he traded those dreams for quarterly reports. He asked himself a question he hadn't asked in 20 years. What makes me feel alive? No immediate answers, but he decided then that he would find them. He began small. He started walking in the mornings, not to exercise, but to observe trees, people, the world. He carried a notebook, writing anything that made his heart twitch. A smile, a phrase, a patch of morning light on a window. And every night, he read a chapter of the map, the story of Arun and Bapu. One spring morning, Arun found the old man sitting beneath the great tree at the edge of the village, a tree older than anyone could remember. "Bapu, I think I must leave now," Arun said. "Not because I think happiness is out there, but because I want to see the world through the eyes you gave me." Bapu nodded. "Then go with open eyes and an open heart. But remember this, the world will tempt you to forget who you are. The greatest courage is to remember." Arun walked for many months. He saw cities lit with neon, deserts stretching like golden oceans, and mountains that scraped the sky. He met people filled with stories, joy, and pain. But in each face, he tried to see what Bapu taught him, the essence of being. Daniel found himself transforming, not by changing jobs or moving cities, but by changing how he lived each moment. He reconnected with an old college friend, Sarah, an artist who now taught painting classes to kids in community centers. She invited him to join one Saturday. He hesitated, then went. That afternoon, surrounded by children covered in paint and laughter, he painted for the first time in 20 years. It was terrible. The proportions were off. The colors clashed. But he felt something he hadn't felt in decades: joy. He began to sketch again, on the train, in coffee shops, in his lunch breaks. One day, a stranger saw him drawing and said, "That's beautiful. Do you sell your art?" Daniel laughed at first, then paused. "No," he said, "but maybe I should." Perfect. Let's continue with the second half of How to Find Happiness in Your Life. A powerful story that will change your perspective, continuing the intertwined narratives of Daniel and Arun. This portion will bring transformation, challenges, and ultimately, a message of deep inspiration and courage. Arun had been traveling for a year when he arrived at the city of Coma, a glittering metropolis known for its towers of glass and endless lights. But beneath its brilliance lay shadows. People lost in ambition, disconnected from one another, racing toward futures they couldn't see. In Coma, Arun met a woman named Leela, a dancer who no longer danced. Her eyes were filled with stories she refused to tell. Over tea one evening, Arun asked her, "Why did you stop dancing?" She looked away. "Because life demanded I be practical." "And did practicality make you happy?" "It made me survive." "But are you alive?" Leela was silent, and then she cried. They talked for hours that night. She danced again a week later, barefoot on a rooftop under the stars. The city didn't notice, but Arun did, and Leela said afterward, "You reminded me who I am." Daniel began to take weekends away from screens. He hiked, traveled to nearby towns, visited museums, and started volunteering with Sarah's art workshops. One rainy Saturday, a young boy named Kareem approached him with a picture. "This is me flying," the boy said. "I want to be a pilot." Daniel smiled. "That's amazing. Don't stop dreaming." Kareem asked, "What do you want to be?" Daniel froze. "I don't know." The words hit him like a stone. How had he not answered that yet? He was months into this journey and still didn't know what he truly wanted to become. That night, as thunder cracked the sky, he wrote a list. What do I want to be? Alive, free, courageous, honest, creative. The next morning, he gave notice at work. Arun left Coma with Leela's encouragement echoing in his heart. But as he crossed a desolate valley, something shifted. The winds stopped. The birds disappeared. Silence surrounded him like a heavy shroud. He walked for days with no color, no sound, and worst of all, no thoughts. Doubt crept in. Was Bappa wrong? Was this journey a fool's dream? Had happiness been a myth all along? Then, one morning, he sat on a stone and whispered, "I don't know what to do anymore." A voice inside, not Bapu's, not Leela's, but his own, answered, "Then just be." So he did. He stopped walking. He closed his eyes. He breathed. And in that stillness, he remembered the tree, the stories, the moments that mattered, the laughter of strangers, the taste of sweet mangoes on a hot afternoon, Leela's dancing, the stars, the journey. And he realized happiness wasn't a destination. It was these moments strung together by presence. Daniel spent his first week post-job in complete uncertainty, the kind that wakes you up at 3 a.m. with panic. But he reminded himself of Arun. He reread the map. He remembered the words. The greatest courage is to remember. He started a blog called Mapping Happiness, where he posted drawings, short stories, and thoughts on finding meaning. At first, only a few friends followed, but then strangers found it. Comments poured in. "Your words pulled me from the edge. Your art made me cry in the best way. I thought I was alone. Thank you." He realized something profound. By living his truth, he gave others permission to do the same. He wasn't just finding happiness, he was spreading it. Arun returned to his village many years later, older, wiser, eyes like ancient rivers. The village had changed. Children he knew were now adults. Fields had shifted, houses rebuilt, but the tree was still there. And so was Bapu, older but alive. They sat beneath the tree once more. "Did you find happiness?" Bapu asked. Arun smiled. "No, I found life. Happiness came with it." Bapu laughed. "Then you've understood." Arun reached into his satchel and pulled out a stack of journals, filled with sketches, poems, names, and stories. "I want to give this to the village," he said, "so no one forgets who they are." And so he did. The journals became part of a school. Children read them. Teenagers carried them. And soon, the village became a place where people stopped chasing happiness and started creating it. Months passed. Daniel's blog grew. He started traveling, teaching creative journaling workshops, sharing Arun's story. People from around the world wrote to him. One morning, he posted a letter titled, "To anyone searching. You are not broken. You are not late. You are not lost. The world may convince you that happiness is hidden somewhere you have to earn. But I promise it's within.